Martin Luther King Jr. Day 2017, Remembering MLK Through Pictures. Martin Luther King Jr. Day will be observed in Monday, January 16 this year. The holiday honors the birth of Martin Luther King, who was born on January 15, 1929, and died in April 4, 1968. MLK Day is a federal holiday, and is observed in the third Monday of January each year. It was first celebrated in 1986, after President Ronald Reagan signed a bill deeming it a federal holiday in 1983. Activist Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia, in January 15, 1929, to Reverend Martin Luther King, Sr. and Alberta Williams King. King was a middle child, between sister Willie Christine King, and younger brother Alfred Daniel Williams King. He was a Baptist minister and is best remembered for his key role in the civil rights movement from the 50s until his assassination in 1968. He spent years fighting for civil and economic equality for African Americans, and for his famous I Have a Dream speech delivered at the march in Washington on August 28, 1963, which is considered one of, if not the greatest speech of the 20th century. King was assassinated in 1928, and is remembered as one of the most influential leaders of the 20th century. Click through our gallery to see more photos of MLK Jr. in honor of Martin Luther King Day. Getty. As a boy, King was a gifted student, and was admitted to Morehouse College at age 15, after skipping both 9th and 11th grades. He graduated in 1948 with a BA in Sociology, and went on to receive his Bachelor of Divinity in 1951 from Crozer Theological Seminary in Pennsylvania. Getty. King went on to pursue a graduate degree at Boston University, where he met his future wife, Coretta Scott. At the time, Coretta was studying singing at the New England Conservatory of Music. King and Scott married in 1953. He was 24 and she was 26, and went on to have 4 children: Yolanda Denise King, 1955 to 2007, Martin Luther King III, born 1957, Dexter Scott King, born 1961, and Bernice Albertine King, born 1963. Getty. By the 50s, King had established himself as a leader of the civil rights movement, and had made his way across the country to give lectures on nonviolent protests. Getty. Dr. King became the pastor of Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama, in 1954. At the time, he was a member of the Executive Committee of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Getty. King was elected as president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in 1957, and by 1968, he had traveled over 6 million miles and spoke over 2,500 times, according to Nobelprize.org. Getty. In 1960, he and his family moved to Atlanta, where he became a co-pastor at the Ebenezer Baptist Church with his father. In April of '63, King was arrested for his involvement in the Birmingham campaign, and in jail, he wrote his famous Civil Rights Manifesto, known today as the Letter from Birmingham. Getty. In 1964, MLK Jr. became the youngest man to ever receive a Nobel Peace Prize for his dedication to fighting racial inequality through nonviolent resistance. Getty. During the March on Washington, King was one of the Big Six civil rights leaders, along with Roy Wilkins from the NAACP, Whitney Young from the National Urban League, A. Philip Randolph from the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, John Lewis from the SNCC, and James L. Farmer Jr. of the Congress of Racial Equality. The march hoped to bring to light the civil and economic conditions of African Americans, and hoped to end racial segregation in public schools and protect civil rights workers from police brutality. 6 months after the March on Washington, King discussed his career and aspirations with Robert N. Warren. When Warren asked him how whites are also hurt by segregation, King said, "I feel that, when a white child goes to school only with white children, unconsciously that child grows up in many instances devoid of a world perspective. There is an unconscious provincialism, and it can develop into an unconscious superiority complex, just as a nigger develops an unconscious inferiority complex. In April 4, 1968, MLK Jr. was shot by James Earl Ray in the second-floor balcony of the Lorraine Motel. He was pronounced dead at St. Joseph's Hospital approximately 1 hour later.